Okay, so you should have already received the warm-up activity week 19 paper. Um, the mentor sentence says, each stall had a number painted on it, and when we got to 40, Mr. Noma pushed the door open. You may recognize this as an excerpt from The Bracelet by Yoshiko Uchida. You should have already done your noticing before you watched this video. If you haven't, please pause the video, do your noticing, and then continue with the rest of the video. Okay, now that you're ready, you should have noticed that this sentence has characteristics of a compound complex sentence, which means it has rules for both types of sentences. It has rules for the compound sentence and the complex sentence. In other words, it has two independent clauses, just like the compound sentence. It has one or more dependent clauses, just like a complex sentence. It has a subordinating conjunction at the beginning of its dependent clauses, like a complex sentence, and it has a coordinating conjunction being the glue that holds together the two independent clauses. All right, let's look at our mentor sentence and see if we can find all these rules inside of this sentence. All right, you probably noticed that the first independent clause is right at the beginning of the sentence. It says each stall had a number painted on it. This is independent because it can stand alone. The second independent clause comes at the end of the sentence. Mr. Noma pushed open the door. This is another sentence that could stand alone, and that's why it's independent. Look, we have two independent clauses, just like a compound sentence. Now we need to see if it has characteristics of a complex sentence. Here's the dependent clause. It says when we got to 40, well, that just sounds like it needs more information. So that's the dependent clause at the beginning of the second independent clause. For a subordinated conjunction, we have the word when. Notice on this sentence, we do have a comma at the end of our dependent clause because it comes before the independent clause. So it needs a comma. And then, of course, the last thing to find is the coordinating conjunction holding both of these two sentences together. The independent clause and the complex sentence that makes up the second clause. Notice it also has a comma in front of the coordinating conjunction because those are the rules. Okay, if you didn't notice that and you didn't write this down, make sure you do because this is the focus for this week. Later on Wednesday, when you are doing the imitate, and then on Thursday when you do your revise, I will be looking for compound complex sentences. So make sure you understand this. If you don't, feel free to rewatch this as many times as you need. All right, move on with your playlist.